covering the islands of the Bahamas. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight Weekend Edition. I'm LaDawn Davis. As always, it's great to have you joining us. It was all about the Family Islands yesterday, with all three political parties holding events in Grand Bahama last night. But before he touched down in Grand Bahama, Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham made a stop in Cat Island for a rally there. The Prime Minister declared that the Free National Movement will have a clean sweep in the Family Islands, winning all seats as it continues the job of transforming island communities and the lives of residents who live on them. Yesterday, Mr. Ingraham told supporters a vote for Michael Pintard means deliverance on the kind of representation they deserve. Shanique Miller starts our election campaign coverage tonight.
It's shaping up to be one of those races that could define this election. The Cat Island, Rumkey, and San Salvador constituency, with the Free National Movement's candidate Michael Pintard facing the Progressive Liberal Party's candidate and deputy in a traditional PLP stronghold. But some say this is the most energized Cat Islanders have been for a long time, and residents say it's because of Michael Pintard.
Michael Pintard brings vision to the community. The community of Cat Island, the history of Cat Island, is we've always been a people that literally fight for what we want. We go out. We don't want people to actually give us handouts.
Now, Cat Island is the biggest voting bloc of the three-island constituency, with a total 953 registered voters. It's safe to say one only need win convincingly here to win the seat. Support for the FNM has mushroomed. Many say this shift in this PLP stronghold has to do with a new demographic of voters, where more than 50% of those registered are 43 and under. Some desiring a new direction for an island with so much to offer and whose potential remains largely untapped.
I assure you that in me, in the Parliament of the Bahamas, you will have a fearless voice. But I won't be afraid to speak up on your behalf. And I'll do so after consulting with you, because it isn't about me, it isn't about the FNM, it is about your needs, your dreams, your aspirations.
For his part, Michael Pintard has already begun to make things happen. He's transforming dilapidated buildings into works of art and at the same time creating community parks for young and old to enjoy.
We ask you to paint San Salvador red. We ask you to paint Rumkey red. We ask you, oh my gosh, to paint Cat Island red.
I've got some unfinished business to do. One of those businesses I got to do is to get Cat Island on its feet.
In an effort to get things moving at a quicker pace, Prime Minister Ingraham told residents his administration, in its new term, will grant customs exemptions for a certain category.
That's why we will ensure that Cat Islanders are able to access Crown land, to facilitate the development of new businesses, and to construct or expand their homes. And we will extend further the Family Island Development Act, which gives you duty-free concessions to assist you in your construction. And this time, when we win again, we will include in that provision for islands like Cat Island to also receive customs duty exemption on furniture, appliances, and other items needed to outfit their homes and their businesses for new construction and or for repairs of existing businesses.
Even now, some 65 residents are being exposed to new careers through the 52-week National Job Readiness Program. Others are also getting the opportunity to create businesses through the Jumpstart and Self-Starters programs.
The neglect of Cat Island by the outgoing MP not only annoys Michael, it irritates his sensibilities, it angers, and it energizes him. I believe, and Michael believes, and the FNM believes, that it's time for you to have a representative who cares about you and about people like you.
Shanique Miller, ZNS News.
The governing Free National Movement's campaign machinery kicked into high gear on Grand Bahama over the weekend. On Saturday night, the FNM kicked off its mass rallies at the East Sunrise Shopping Center, where party leader Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham discussed plans to put Grand Bahama on a path to economic prosperity. Sabrina Brown has more.
I got their waters on. I can keep it on.
Leader of the Free National Movement, Prime Minister the Right Honorable Hubert Ingram, told Grand Bahama that the FNM is still the best choice to lead this country. He accused the PLP of abandoning Grand Bahama during their term in office.
It was Christie who told you in 2002, about the Royal Oasis would be the beginning of Grand Bahama becoming a new Las Vegas. By 2004, the 845 rooms of the Royal Oasis, nearly 40% of all the hotel rooms on this island was closed.
Are you serious?
And 1,500 Grand Bahamians out of work. And that's not all. Grand Bahamians had to wait, the unemployed ones had to wait for the FNM to come to power to get that severance paid due to them.
Mr. Ingram said the period 2002 to 2007 was the biggest loss of hotel rooms in Bahamian history, which also resulted in a fall-off in air arrivals of some 113,000. The nation's leader said, coming out of a global recession, it's now time for an aggressive recovery and growth agenda. He noted that the FNM has big plans for Grand Bahama if elected for a next term.
In our next term in office, we will put in Grand Bahama 2 government departments. They will help to stimulate your economy in significant and far-reaching ways. By boosting Grand Bahama's critical infrastructure and the capacity of the public sector, we are also improving the conditions for growth here in Grand Bahama. But this requires teamwork. We've had some very fruitful meetings with the Grand Bahama Port Authority in recent times. They have ambitious plans, a number of which we will collaborate with them on in our next term. We're going to construct a new fire station in Grand Bahama. We're going to build a new community health facility for Freeport and its environment, like the one in South Beach in Nassau. And we are about to replace the Sunset Village Fish Fry and Cultural Center at 8 Mile Rock.
On the issue of crime, the FNM leader said they're working hard to curtail this social ill.
Tomorrow, my government will make available $1 million in grants for urban research, outreach and youth development programs to fight against crime. $200,000 of that will go to Grand Bahama associations.
Should the party be successful at the polls come May 7th, the FNM also plans to establish a Grand Bahama Development Board and an aircraft and yacht registry on the island. Sabrina Brown, ZNS News.
The opposition Progressive Liberal Party also on the campaign trail in Grand Bahama on Saturday night. The party held its first mass rally at the former Portion Control supermarket parking lot downtown Freeport. It was a special occasion for the PLP as the party welcomed one of its own back into the fold. Shashina Rowe reports.
Hundreds of PLP supporters turned out to hear the PLP's message as the country moves closer to the May 7th elections. But some supporters were taken by surprise when community activist and independent candidate for Marco City, Troy Garvey, mounted the stage to announce that he was joining forces with the PLP.
I am here tonight not because of no duress. I am not here tonight because nothing was promised to me. I have seen it fit to join hands with Gregory Morris and the Progressive Liberal Party.
And not long after, it was time for supporters to hear from PLP leader, the Right Honorable Perry Christie. He told supporters that he is proud of his candidates, a team that he called the best put-together slate in the country's history. Christie stated that he was especially elated with the amount of support on Grand Bahama.
People who have always voted red are fed up and disgusted. They've had enough. They're now saying that red is dead. They're saying that the FNM put us in the red. Too much national debt. They're saying that the FNM offering red herrings and not new ideas. They're saying the FNM has been caught red-handed with those contracts going to Brent Simonet.
The PLP leader then accused the FNM of delivering record-breaking numbers in murders, violent crime, and unemployment. He said under the current FNM administration, Grand Bahama has experienced 5 years of neglect and an unemployment rate of over 20%.
Hubert Ingram, as you heard, has been conducting a feud with the Grand Bahama Port Authority. That's his specialty, conducting feuds. But the result of this private feud is that you have all been abandoned, neglected, and the trade.
Christie said the PLP knows how to govern during tough times, noting that the economic recession can no longer be used as an excuse because regional competitors are outpacing the Bahamas. He said when the PLP took office in 2002, the Bahamian economy was at the brink of collapse as a result of 9/11. His government, he noted, was able to secure billions of dollars in foreign investment.
Tell them because we created 22,000 jobs in the last term. That's why we did it before and we'll do it again. Also tell them the jobs were not for foreigners, the jobs were for Bahamians.
Christie said the PLP did it then under tough economic conditions and without raising taxes, and he contends that they can do it again. Shashina Roll, ZNS News.
Before attending his party's mass rally in Grand Bahama Saturday night, Progressive Liberal Party leader Perry Christie received a hero's welcome in Moores Island. Mr. Christie went to Abaco to officially open the constituency office of South Abaco candidate Gary Sawyer. Altaviz Munnings was there.
Moores Islanders warmly welcomed Progressive Liberal Party leader Perry Christie and his contingent Saturday afternoon to hear the party's plans for this southern Abaco island. Mr. Christie noted that Moores Islanders have overwhelmingly supported the PLP since inception and asked them not to stop now. A 2012 PLP government, he says, will also focus on sports development in this small island community. This is of note as two 2012 Carifta medalists hail from there.
Just because we know that you will take maximum advantage of it, we will move immediately to give you the proper track and field facilities and sporting facilities on this island. Because we know some of the greatest athletes will come from Moores Island.
New roads, seawalls, a resident physician, a morgue and cemetery are other issues Mr. Christie promised Moores Islanders. He further outlined to these southern Abaco residents why the PLP is the best party for them.
Tell them the DNA cannot form a government. You can't get a doctor. You can't get your roads. You can't get anything that matches the progress. But they have overspent by $100 million and it ain't end yet. And you want to tell me with Human Ingram talking about deliver my foot.
This is Gary Sawyer's third bid to become the PLP's Member of Parliament for Central and South Abaco. He too outlined primary needs for Moores Islanders like a new library and resource center, 24-hour banking, a new dock, more cable television channels, and adequate land ownership.
It is a disgrace that you have not been provided the necessary equipment to defend your neighbors in your community in the face of fire. I will work to ensure that Moores Island is provided with a fire engine to keep the island safe, along with the necessary training for firefighting.
Altaviz Munnings, ZNS News.
The Democratic National Alliance was also in Grand Bahama on Saturday night, but instead of staging a mass outdoor rally, the leadership of the party engaged in an economic summit at the Grand Lucaya Resort. That is where the DNA outlined plans to revive the Grand Bahama economy. Shakara Russell has more.
As the CEOs of this great island nation, ladies and gentlemen, you have every right to say to the FNM and the PLP, you have failed to live up to the obligations to the citizens of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and it is time for you to go.
The Democratic National Alliance converged at the Grand Lucayan Resort for a special meeting on the state of the economy. Party leader Branville McCartney said the economy of Grand Bahama is fractured, faulty, fruitless, and futureless. He charged that the economic fallout and the misery index is the worst in history.
Fractured because it is not working. Would you agree? Faulty because of the many factors that are not allowing it to function. Fruitless because it is not productive. And futureless because it, in its present form, cannot be sustainable.
McCartney then moved to rate the performance of successive governments, grading the Free National Movement and Progressive Liberal Party on a scale from A to Z.
Jobs, H, hard to find. Entrepreneurship, N, non-existent. Bahamianization of the economy, L, lacking. The Bahamian budget, F, failure. National debt, D, deep. National Economic Plan, S, still trying to find it.
The leader of the ZNS said his party has an extensive plan to diversify the economy on Grand Bahama and the Bahamas, moving from total reliance on tourism to a greater reliance on agriculture and mariculture.
We will establish an aircraft and maintenance industry. We will encourage the growth of a manufacturing industry both in Grand Bahama and throughout the country. We will promote economic empowerment for all by providing a high-quality education system which will directly and positively impact economic growth and entrepreneurship. We will promote cultural tourism by investing, yes, in you, the local talent, entertainers, heritage and amusement parks.
Shakara Russell, ZNS News.
When we come back, we've got highlights of Team Bahamas' performance at the Christie Swimming Championships. That story and more coming up.